Howdy, I'm Robbie Bland, and welcome to my weekly comic book catch-up. Long story short, I'm Robbie Bland. I've been on YouTube for about 10 years. I post under the name Bland Clan Videos. I do stop-motion animation. I actually put out a new video this week, Beta Ray Bill versus Starfire, two of my favorite orange aliens from Marvel and DC battling it out. It's a fun one. It's a doozy. It's a shorter episode, but it was a lot of fun to make and put together, and kind of have those two go head to head. But without further ado, let's talk about comics. Army of Darkness Forever, Issue 8. From writer Tony Fleeks and art by Pop Man. I like Evil Dead. Evil Dead 2 is my favorite movie of all time. I love Evil Dead 2. I like Army of Darkness. I think the movies and the TV show and even the video games are a lot of fun. I think the comics can be very hit or miss. I think if you put a writer on Army of Darkness, there's a certain balance that he has to kind of strike when he's writing it, because you can sometimes just make Ash Williams an unlikable, misogynistic asshole, which, in fairness, he is. But Bruce Campbell, playing the character, is kind of likable, is kind of fun. It's all in that charisma. And without the performance, you have to write it in such a way that it will be charismatic without line delivery. And in particular, I would say I didn't like the crossover with Vampirella that Dynamite put out some time ago. I felt they leaned too hard into Ash just being a stupid, unlikable asshole. I really liked the crossover between Hackslash and Army of Darkness. I felt like Ash was kind of written perfectly there. No surprise it came from Tim Seeley. Anytime Dynamite puts out a new Army of Darkness book, I will always pick up the first 2 or 3 issues just to give it a chance, give it a taste, see what it's like. A lot of the time it seems like the writers are just kind of hitting the notes, doing the things you know. But this one had kind of a lofty goal. It was supposed to pick up on the ending, the alternate ending of Army of Darkness, which, if you don't know, ended with Ash being launched into the future beyond the time that he left in a post-apocalypse. The actual ending of the movie we got ends with him getting back to his own time, returning to his job at the grocery store, stopping one last deadite, and getting the kiss, getting the girl, hail to the king. You know how it went. It was the happy ending. But this book promised to pick up on the sad ending, the dystopia ending, the bad ending. But it did something else. It actually picked up on both endings. And in Army of Darkness Forever, the twist is that bad Ash, the evil Deadite version of Ash, is the one who got sent to the present, And the good Ash, our lovable protagonist, got sent to the future after Bad Ash has already destroyed the world. And so from that hook, I was already interested because it was exciting and kind of new and kind of different. And we are 8 issues into this book now, and it's been a lot of fun. It's 3 different timelines. The past, which follows Sheila, who was Ash's love interest in the movie, who was also converted into a evil, bad version of herself, kind of having to desperately try to save the medieval time period from the Army of Darkness taking over. I really like when these kind of tie-in expansion books expand on the supporting cast. There was a comic run of Evil Dead 2 where it followed Ash's severed hand being magicked into a full person and working with Annie Nobe. That was fun. And so this book, focusing on Sheila, at least for a third of its runtime, was cool. It expanded her character, kind of gave her a little bit more agency than she had in the movie. She's desperately trying to save the world without the world's savior around. He's been put into a coma waiting to wake up in the future. And this book even picked up on some loose threads for the character with the unfortunate and scary resurrection of her brother as a Deadite. And you don't see her brother in the movie, you only hear about it. It's part of the exposition. You get Henry the Red showing up. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I like when books take that liberty and do that with other characters, because it's stuff you're not going to ever see outside of this book. Beyond that, we have Bad Ash doing his own take on the 6th of January, showing up at the White House and burning the whole thing down as he takes over the world. We had this neat moment where someone is talking to the president and they're saying, Mr. President, everything is fucked. And the president's like, well, we're not going to negotiate with these guys. And they're like, well, Mr. President, that's just the thing. He doesn't want to negotiate. Tell the president there will be no negotiation. Take them! It was fun. It's crazy seeing the world come to an end like that. And meanwhile, Ash Williams is in the future trying to gather the 3 Necronomicons, picking up that point from Army of Darkness, to put them together to somehow undo all of this. And the issue ends with something I'm fascinated to see what they're going to do next with, which was Sheila losing her hand, just like Ash. Whether this will be an exit for the character from this book or an escalation of her into the continuing protagonist role, maybe she'll get a sword attached to her hand now that she is handless, time will tell. I think it's a lot of fun. This is one of my favorite Army of Darkness books to have ever come out, and I've read quite a few. There's still plenty to read, but I'm very satisfied with this book. I think it is not just using the IP just to use the IP. It's actually trying to tell an interesting story and celebrate the series. And I think I'm very excited to see what the next 2 issues hold.
Groovy.
If you want to know what else I'm doing and working on, I am a Star Bandit. I am vice president of the Star Bandit Foundation. It is a nonprofit based here in Austin, Texas, where we put on a theater show, Stargaze, at the end of the year. We solicit local Texas-based playwrights, and we give them a cast, give them a crew, give them a director, and put on their show for them. We also are soliciting local actors and crew members and all kinds of talent. It's an opportunity to explore theater that you don't get in a lot of other places. And we are fundraising right now, selling donuts from Krispy Kreme. It's nationwide. You just order the donuts and pick them up, and we get some of the money. I also am in a semi-regular, I think we might be monthly, movie talk show with my friend Israel. We are called Trying to Talk About, because we try to talk about the movie but get lost in tangents and little rabbit holes. Our next video is going to be about Civil War, not the Marvel one, and Late Night with the Devil, which I had a lot to say about both of those movies, so look forward to that. In the meantime, you can hear us talk about Madam Web or Godzilla -1 X Kong. I'd also like to shout out my best friend, Caleb King. Here is a little snippet from last week's show where I talk about his comic. Special shout out as well to my best friend Caleb King, who is currently trying to kickstart his own comic, which I hope to someday talk about on this channel. Swallowed Still, the Kickstarter link will be in the description, and here's some nice little visual stills. It is good. It's emotional. It's a very human-driven story about one person's attempt at fatherhood, being blinded by what you could call toxic masculinity, or a forced perspective on what masculinity is supposed to look like that ultimately lets down not just himself but the next generation, and how he attempts to recover from that. It's a very good story. I have watched this comic grow from a script that he wrote that I helped review into a very beautiful comic with some amazing art, and I am super excited to be able to hold it in my hand someday. And with all that said, this has been Robbie Bland doing the weekly comic book catch-up. This one was less issues, but also kind of more to say. I think I might get myself in trouble here because I'm going to get really comfortable talking about comics, and these shows are going to be 2 hours long before I know it. But I'm looking forward to diversifying this channel a little bit, doing maybe video essay content or talking about comic books more in depth, not just, oh, here's this issue I read this week, but maybe going a little bit more specific and talking about and breaking down some of these stories and what I like about them so much. So look forward to that. I'm also planning on doing some behind the scenes videos for the stop motion animation I'm working on. I think it will help people appreciate a lot of the effort that goes into those videos and maybe get some more eyes on them. So there's big things coming to this channel very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Adios.
Oppenheimer versus Godzilla.
Well, Oppenheimer made Godzilla.
Yeah, so you can kill him. You can write on his science board.
Oppenheimer can just do this.
You know, going back to that soy part that we were mentioning, where in the movie they have all the scientists come up with how they can kill Godzilla in the end of Godzilla -1. They just bring in Oppenheimer in the sequel, and they're like, "You created him. How did we destroy him? Because he was still alive in like the 50s or whatever."
No, I mean, yeah, he would have seen it happen.
Yeah.
On the radio.
It's just his fucking milquetoast stare at the TV, seeing this giant ass lizard, like, you know.
Well, that's why he wanted to stop creating bombs. And he didn't want to make bigger bombs either. That's why he wanted to stop at just those two because he saw what could happen.
He saw you can make a big ass lizard.
Yeah, and he didn't want to make more big ass lizards.
Albert, do you know remember when we were talking about how we could make a big ass lizard? I believe we did.
Yes, I remember that.
What topic? Oh, and the fucking Robert Downey Jr. thought they were talking about him. They're talking about a giant ass lizard instead.
And then What I've Done by Linkin Park starts playing.
Yeah.